reason this is, you know, the most prestigious dirt track race that there is. Of course, this is the granddaddy of all of them that ever paid anything to start with, you know. So, you know, it's going to be around for a long time, this race is going to be. And, you know, it's just a race that nobody can stay away from.
The granddaddy of them all, the big World's 100 that'll be taking place in September, and I'm sure that you're looking forward to that one again this year.
Well, the World 100 is a late-model show. Actually, my greatest love is sprint car racing. However, this can't take anything away from that World 100. That is our biggest show by a large margin. Just people come from all over. Last year, we didn't think that we could ever beat them. That was in 1983. We never thought we'd beat the number of states we sold tickets. We sold tickets in 36 states. And last year, in 1984, we sold tickets in 38 states, and that was just unbelievable.
Unbelievable, says Earl Baldus, but it was a plan, a formula for the World's 100, a full pits, fast qualifiers, 6 20-car heat races, a last chance race, and a big 100-lapper. And the top cars from all across the nation are here every year. The best builders are represented at the World 100. If it's a late model that wins races, it's going to be at the World's 100. And that formula is what has made the World's 100 Eldora Speedway such a classic as it is. Drivers week after week come to Eldora Speedway, but when you come down to the big shows, the World 100, that's when you see the champions. Qualifying, the first thing they do is get on the way with qualifying, and it becomes an event in itself. A day before the actual race, the cars get qualifying attempts, and the idea is to go as fast as you can, because your qualifying time is going to determine your start in the race and give you that one last shot to get in case you don't qualify through the 20-car heat races. The top 2 qualifiers are guaranteed to start at the back of the World's 100 if they don't make it through the 6 heat races or the B main. And the qualifying heat races are more like features than heat races. 20 cars, 2 abreast. The green flag comes out on a 15-lap dash. The best cars in the country are in, and the fast qualifier doesn't start on the pole of this race. He starts back in the back, inverting the top 6. It makes great racing action at the World's 100, and just making the race is a feat by itself. 20 cars, and the top 3 move into the A, and the balance work themselves through a B main, a last chance race. And then the lineup for the big 100-lap feature event. Earl started the show off when it first started in the 70s, paying $3,000 to win. Each year thereafter, he has increased the purse by $1,000 more to win. And this year's race, the 1988 18th annual, is going to be paying $21,000. The 100-lap World 100 as the green flag comes out on the action year after year. Many other tracks have tried to copy the formula that has made Eldora successful in the World 100 format, but it just hasn't worked. They can pay more money. They don't get more cars and better cars. So let's take a look as the years have went by here at how Earl has put this together with his team, Eldora Enterprises, to make the World's 100 the race that it is today. In 1971, the first winner of the race was Bruce Gould from Milford, Ohio. The second year, 72, the winner was Verlin Akers out of Cedar Rapids, Iowa, 1972. And then Floyd Gilbert came back and won the third race from Laughlin, Ohio, the 1973 winner. Ed Sanger was the winner in 1974 and also out of Iowa, and the Iowa drivers have been doing a great job of capturing the wins. It's now Eldora Speedway 1975, the World 100. You see a younger Terry Baldus there, and of course Earl talking to his men, letting them know that this is a prestigious race, that they are a select few, the ones that make the start of this 1975 Classic. And you can see a lot of familiar faces through the crowd as these drivers are ready for this year's event, the qualifying, the heat races, and the big 100-lap feature event. Eldora Speedway. And believe it or not, folks, this is the top late model cars in the country running on the dirt. The state-of-the-art late models are here, and that's what they look like in 1975. The Race Review was covering the event in those years with film. A 16mm camcorder was placed on one of the cars, a car of quite a legend in racing. We'll talk about him later. In these early stages of the World's 100, there were racing supply trucks on hand, bringing fuel and tires, but the state-of-the-art of late models had not developed to the point it is today. The homemade cars were more homemade than not. Phil Cole, the publisher of Mid-American Auto Racing News, one of the local papers that helped Earl Barlis promote this event throughout the Midwest. Lining up for racing, here's that racing legend we talked about, the Herc, Jim Hurtubise. Racing in the Indy 500 and sprint cars and dirt cars. He also runs late models, and Jim Hurtubise was here on hand for 1975 to run his Camaro and try to qualify for the World's 100. We're sorry to report he did not qualify for the feature event. We had a camera in his car, though, to give you an action driver's view of what they see as they go out on the Eldora Oval. You'll notice the old guardrail around the Eldora Speedway, which has now been replaced with a concrete wall. And of course, Earl always has the beauty queens for the World's 100. He believed every driver should have a queen for the lineup. And each driver was adorned with a beautiful racing queen by his side as the Star-Spangled Banner plays, and the cars are now moving out for the start of the 1975 edition of the World's 100. And a full grandstand, the other key mark of this event. Every year since it was incepted in 1971, the grandstands have been full for the World 100. That people know this is the late model classic, the granddaddy of late model dirt track racing. As the cars are lined up down the backstretch, the green flag's about to wave here at Eldora Speedway. Wally Shear, the flagman behind the flag, a longtime flagman here at Eldora Speedway. One more parade in front of the grandstands, and the green flag will wave on this edition of the 100-lap World 100. The drivers are picking up their pace down the backstretch. They're coming into turn 4. There's the green flag, and the 75 edition is underway. Right away, a car in trouble as it gets into the turn 2 wall. Drivers get worked up for this race. It's paying big money, and they want a chance to take home their share of it. So they run close and fast. The fastest late models in the country are here today at Eldora Speedway, as they have been since this race started in 1971. Race run on Sunday afternoon. The track dries out, although it does hold up very well and stays smooth. Here's Joe Merrifield. He has got into the lead. The car number 39 out of Des Moines, Iowa, another Iowa driver. However, with just a few laps remaining, Merrifield loses a latch on his hood, and his hood comes tumbling off. Luckily, the flagman must not have seen that he was not black flagged. The race continued, and Joe Merrifield went on to pick up a victory and win his first World 100. There's the double checkered flags. Wally Shear waves them for Joe Merrifield. 3 wins for Iowa. They're ahead of Ohio now as Merrifield comes down for the celebration. Of course, we have our safety checks. At that time, they're checking the right rear tire for width. The 75 winner, Joe Merrifield. Joe gets a chance now to pose up in front of his car with his crew and the Queens and savor the victory of the 1975 World 100. Joe Merrifield from Des Moines, Iowa. In 1976, the winner come out of the South, Charles Hughes out of Dalton, Georgia. In 1977, another Georgia driver come up for a victory, Doug Kinnemer. And then 1978, it was Ken Walton from Viola, Iowa. Let's take a look at some of the action now from the 1978 edition of the World's 100. Of course, we still got our Queens accompanying the drivers to the car, and we still got a full grandstand full of fans. Jim Ridley, the pit steward, sends the drivers out for the start of this year's 100-lap event. As the cars are pulling out for the 78 edition of the World 100, the entire grandstand at Eldora Speedway is watching them pace down the backstretch. They start to pick their pace up now as they go down the backstretch. The starter looks them over. He throws the green flag. The race is underway. Sideways through turn one, 3 abreast. Action racing today here at Eldora Speedway for the running of the World's 100. Here's the overall winners so far up to 1978. There's 4 wins from Iowa, 2 from Ohio, and 2 from Georgia after 8 years. Out in front, setting the pace and going on to pick up a checkered flag for the 1978 edition of the World 100 was Ken Walton, Viola, Iowa. By 1978, the state-of-the-art had been improving with the late models. Several car manufacturers were now getting into the business and selling complete kits and chassis. Engine builders were taking heed, and the dirt track late models were becoming faster and better every year. As Ken Walton is congratulated by track owner Earl Baldus, he gets to stand up with the Queens and hold the world globe. The 1978 World 100 winner was Ken Walton. The big old water truck at Eldora Speedway dumps a lot of water on that track to keep the dust down during these day races. And even back in '78, that track was greasy, slippery, and fun to walk up. And again, Earl Baldus brought out the Queens to walk the drivers to the cars, a tradition that started with the first World's 100 and has continued throughout the years. (1979), Larry Moore out of Dayton, Ohio, picked up his first World 100 victory. It's the 10th annual World's 100 at Eldora Speedway, a 10-year anniversary, and we're going to be picking up on the action. Tom Helfrich in a 71 car, 18.529, and Charlie Schwartz, 18.697, followed by Larry Moore in the M1 car with a qualifying time of 18.742. Time trials out of the way. The heat race is about to take place here. To give you an idea of some of the recaps, we'll cover some of the highlights of the heat races during this year's event, as the big day is here at Eldora Speedway, the day of the big 100-lap event, the one and only Eldora World's 100. First heat race winner was Kevin Gundaker in the 11 car, followed by Bubba James, Pete Parker, Fred Horn, Jesse Ladd, and Matt Gillardy. The second heat race was won by Pat Patrick out of Cincinnati, followed by Ed Howell, John Williams, Ron Henniker, Larry Owens, and Don Lamb. The third heat race went to Larry Phelps, followed by Dick Slotz, Roger Long, Chuck McWilliams, Don Hester, and Billy Clinton. Then it was Billy T. Gardner who won the fourth heat, followed by Jim Curry, David Spear, John Johnson, Paul Crockett, and Leon Plank. The fifth heat race was won by Steve Klepler, followed by Danny Dean, Roy Miller, Messinger, Don Hobbs, and John Connolly. The sixth heat was won by Don Seaborn, followed by Ken Simpson, Leon Archer, Dick Potts, Bill Rice, and Don Perkins. Now let's watch Earl Bolus as he talks during a driver's meeting.
Competitive goddamn race, let me tell you, boys. 9 years, 9 different winners. You know what'll happen this year. I know there's a lot of you guys like this race. When you do, you're really somebody. Remember how we feel about it here at Eldora Enterprise. If you make this race, buddy, you're somebody. You're the real special. Now, when you introduce like this, really lay it on. And smile out there. And take care of your ass, we just work whatever you do. Is that it?
Earl Bolus gets right involved. He helps shove the cars out on the track. He gets the track manicured, waters it down. There's a lot of work around Eldora Speedway. The man behind the scenes is the man that owns the track. He always likes to climb around. And now it's time to go get these queens and bring them out. They're going to be now bringing out the top 4 drivers this year's queens, the World's 100. Larry Moore, he'd like to make it 2 wins in a row. Charlie Schwartz. Rodney Combe. And Tom Helfrich. As the lineup is ready, the green flag comes out on this year's event. Rodney Combs, the early leader, followed by Larry Moore in the M1 car. And coming up fast, it's Charlie Schwartz in the 1 car. Race leader after lap 28. Out in front it's Moore, and he's smoking very badly. And finally, Larry Moore pulls by the wayside with a blown engine. And there goes Rodney Combs in the lead in the 5 car. With Charlie Schwartz now running in second position as Moore is out of the race. There's an oil leak that developed for Larry that put him out of the action. Now suddenly Rodney Combs develops trouble, and Combs starts slowing down, and he drops by the wayside as out in the front, it's Charlie Schwartz, your new race leader. Charlie Schwartz driving that number 1 car, C.J. Rayburn chassis this year. And Charlie Schwartz followed by Tom Helfrich and Pat Patrick. and Bubby James. As the races continue, we'll go on now to the white flag lap as Swartz picks it up. 1 lap away from the victory, and there it is, the checkered flag. The winner of the 1980 World's 100 is Charlie Swartz. $13,000 victory for Charlie and a very happy crew. Charlie had been driving sprint cars the last few years, went back into late models, and doing a great job in late models, picked up his first World's 100 victory as he's congratulated by his new wife. A $13,000 victory for Charlie Swartz. There's a good look at the champion, Charlie Swartz, as he's surrounded by his crew. And a recap, Charlie Swartz, Kevin Gundaker, David Spears was third, followed by Fred Horn, Ken Simpson, Roy Miller, and Dan Schultz. And there's a recap of the balance of the field for this 1980 Classic. Charlie Swartz.
That means nothing. Hey, is he coming?
But you did win, Charlie. Charlie Swartz, winner in 1980. 1981, Larry Moore came back. He was a first-time, two-time winner of the World's 100. And now we move on to 1982 and the World's 100, the 12th annual edition. 27 cars entered for this year's event. And of course, we got those fans, as usual, falling out the grandstands. The new track record this year, Charlie Swartz set the track record at 16.652. Everybody thought Charlie Swartz might come back and make it another victory. He was a 1980 winner. He's driving a Rayburn chassis owned by J.W. Hunt. And Charlie was definitely looking fat. As they come out for the lineup, he was one of the top 4 cars being escorted out by a beautiful girl. The lineup is ready for the start of the 1982 race with 24 of the finest late models in the nation. There's the green flag. The race is underway. Don Hobbs in a 48 car out in front, setting the pace. Charlie Swartz moving in very fast behind in the number 1 car. Charlie Swartz on the move. And Swartz takes over the lead. And coming up fast behind him was the 1979 and 1981 winner, Larry Moore, also the defending champion. Moore trying to make it 3 wins at Eldora Speedway. It's lap 19. The leader is Charlie Swartz. Larry Moore running a very close second position as they work themselves through the lap cars. And then on lap 44, Moore, as he was working himself around a slower car, gets bumped from behind into the wall. He goes. Larry gets hit hard. Rodney comes about that accident. Larry limps into the pits with the right front tire bent up under the chassis. He wouldn't make it 3 wins this year. A little bit upset was Larry Moore. The cars back out. Lap number 93. Your race leader is Charlie Swartz. 7 more laps for another victory. And now we have a new race leader. The Flexi Flyer F1 Mike Duvall made a move with 7 laps to go and took over the lead from Charlie Swartz. And the winner coming down for the checkered flag, a $25,000 victory, as Mike Duvall. This year's victory was actually worth $15,000, a $10,000 bonus put up by J.W. Hunt, as Mike Duvall was the winner. There's a good look at Mike as he's being congratulated by Earl Baltus. He started 18th. and went on to win this year's Classic. That's the best finish yet from back in the field. Out of Gaffney, South Carolina, a good look, Mike Duvall.
The most prestigious dirt track race that there is. Of course, this is the granddaddy of all of them that ever paid anything to start with, you know. So, you know, it's going to be around for a long time, this race is going to be. And, you know, it's just a race that nobody can stay away from.
I heard the rumor that your team car is going to be qualified by Jack Hewitt. Is that still on?
Yeah, if he gets here in time from the Hoosier 100, he's down there today, and he's supposed to be flying in and qualify the car for the third round. And, you know, if he gets in, then he's going to drive it in the race.
How do you feel? You feel like your cars and your team are ready to win this one this year?
Well, we're prepared as much as we know how to be prepared. And they're good race cars. We got good engines, and, you know, we're running bullet race cars and dream engines, and, you know, Goodyear tires. You can't ask for much more than that. So, you know, we're as ready as we can be.
Who's your biggest threat here?
You know, of course, you got to say Duval. He won it last year, and then Larry Moore's always right there. And, you know, although Rodney's never won the thing, he's still capable, you know. And then Purvis and Boggs, and I mean, I don't want to leave anybody out, but you can go down about 15 or 20 cars that I know could win the race, you know.
1979 and 1981, Larry Moore. Larry, where are you from now?
Seneca, South Carolina.
You've been running the NDRA circuit all year, and how's your year been going?
Oh, pretty well. Can't really complain.
It looks like this is going to be another big World's 100 with a lot of top competition. Does it get tougher every year?
Yeah, it has. It's got tougher every year, I guess.
What's Larry Moore's secret going to be this year to get in the show, first of all, and then secondly go on for a 3-time win?
Well, I don't know. You know, just go as fast as you can go. You know, we got a brand new car and ain't made a lap in it, so it's hard to say. You know, I'll know here in about 15 minutes.
Patrick is out in front, followed by Jeff Purvis, very close in the 15 car. After 80 laps, a great race still running. 68 Pat Patrick, 15 Jeff Purvis, and Jack Boggs is very close in the P4 car, followed by 00 Smith. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 cars side by side on lap 81. Patrick is using his head, driving very cool now as he stays low, avoiding all the traffic. And Jack Boggs and Purvis are battling for second position. Purvis is making his move on lap 86. He's going around Pat Patrick. It's Jeff Purvis, the 15 car, your new leader, and he's moving away from Patrick down the backstretch. The white flag, one more lap, and here comes a checkered flag for young Jeff Purvis. Purvis out of Clarksville, Tennessee, driving the Clyde Purvis Rayburn number 15, $16,000 richer. There's a rundown on the top finishers. Jeff Purvis, followed by Pat Patrick, Jack Boggs, Freddie Smith, Donnie Moran, Russ Petro.
Well, Jeff, how do you feel right now? After last year, I didn't think I'd ever run as good as I did last year here again. And about, I guess, 15, 20 laps to go, the car got hooked up and just took off.
Jeff, you going to come back and run next year's World's 100?
Wouldn't miss it.
He not only wouldn't miss it, he didn't miss it. He came back and did it again in 1984. Jeff Purvis. And now we move on to 1985. Jeff Purvis and Charlie Swartz was in fifth, made a move up and loses it. Charlie Swartz spins and hits the fourth turn wall, putting Charlie out of the action. 2 laps to go. This will be a trophy dash for the victory. Charlie Swartz, a bad break for this tough driver who won it in 1980. If he starts, he'll be starting back on the tail, and with 2 laps to go, it's going to be an almost impossible task to come back up from the back. Lap number 98 restart. Your leader is Larry Moore. Jeff Purvis is in second position. Freddie Smith is in third. Donnie Moran is in fourth, followed by Kenny Brightbill, Willie Kraft, and Jack Boggs. $16,000, 2 laps away. There's the green flag. The race is back underway. Larry Moore, Jeff Purvis right on Moore's bumper. Freddie Smith in a 00 car running third, and Donnie Moran in fourth position. Down the backstretch, they'll be coming around this time to pick up the white flag. There's the white flag. 1 lap to go for your race leader, Larry Moore. 1/2 a lap away from a victory, a third victory in the World's 100 for Larry Moore in the Malcott Gigolo Chassis late model. Larry Moore comes down for the checkered flag. There's the checkered, the winner, $16,000 Richards. Larry Moore, his third win. We've got a spin. C.J. Rayburn has spun in turn number 1, and Donnie Moran did a loop all the way around and kept going to miss Rayburn. No injuries down there, no problems. The race is over with. And here's a rundown. Your winner was Larry Moore in the 14 car, the Brad Malcott Gigolo Chassis, followed by Jeff Purvis in the 15 car, followed by Freddie Smith, Donnie Moran, Kenny Brightbill. Well, there's your winner, Larry Moore. See you back here in 1986.
I'll be here.
Larry Moore, the World's 100 winner. The 1986 16th Annual World 100. We have 3 former winners in this event with 7 victories between them. Leading the fields, Larry Moore with 3 wins, and we have Purvis with 2, Mike Duvall and Charlie Swartz with 1 each. They're picking up their pace, looking the field over. The green flag's out. The World 100 1986 is green, and John Mason in the 72 car moves into the lead going through turn number 1. It's Mason out in front, and a lot of powerful late models challenging him behind him. John Mason stretches his lead down the backstretch. That's 72 car. Running second is Rodney Franklin in the 33 car, followed by Charlie Swartz in the 1 car, and Freddie Smith, 00, running in 4th position. On the final restart, though, Jeff Purvis continued to move away from the field and stand on the gas as he went on to win the 1986 edition of the World's 100. There's the white flag. He goes on to pick up a victory, finishing ahead of Rodney Franklin, Larry Moore, John Mason, Mike Duvall, and Donnie Moran, who was running second, come down for the checkered flag, blew a tire, and spun into the infield wall, and that put Donnie in 6th position. 1986, the first race under the lights, won by 3-time winner Jeff Purvis. Car, and here's Purvis as he flies down the backstretch and brings his 15 car in for a checkered flag and a clocking of 16.372. And at the time, that was a new track record. He busted the old track record held by Steve Francis. It's a summary of the top 10 cars. It was John Racing Mason with a new track record. He was the ultimate fast qualifier, a 16.114. Then Donnie Moran in the 99 car also broke the old track record, a 16.256. Jeff Purvis, the third fastest qualifier, the 15 car, 16.372. Those 3 cars all breaking the original track record. This is the World 100. Rodney Combs has 14 starts. Pat Patrick has 13. Larry Moore has 10. Tom Helfrich has 8. Ed Singer has 8. Then we have Charlie Swartz with 7. Mike Duvall with 6. Jeff Purvis, Buck Simmons, and H.E. Vineyard all have 5. And these drivers are all on hand today. 6 more laps for Billy Moore to pick up a $20,000 payday. A prestigious victory in the World's 100. Billy Moyer, he's slowing down, and on lap 95, Moyer is out of the race. Billy Moyer drops out of the race. The lead back to Randy Boggs on the 95th lap, as Randy Boggs has really got a lucky break tonight. He led this race for 90 of these laps, lost the lead to Moyer 5 laps ago, and now inherited the lead as Billy Moyer is sidelined. Randy Boggs with 2 laps remain for a $20,000 payday. The 1987 World's 100 winner, 36-year-old Randy Boggs, picked up $20,000. Here's a rundown. It was Randy Boggs, John Mason, Bobby Carnes, Freddie Smith, Russ Petro finishing 5th. Then we have Billy Moyer, Jack Boggs, Jeff Purvis, G.STUHLER, Tom Helfrich, Kevin Claycomb, Jack Hewitt, and Donnie Moran finishing 13th. Rounding out the field, it was Rod Franklin, followed by Mike Balzano, Dave Johnson, Kevin Gundaker, Steve Francis, Charlie Swartz, John Gill, Eddie Carrier, John Osmond, Pat Patrick, and Tom Rentz. That's a rundown of 24 finishes for 1987 World's 100. And here's a look at the champion and his crew, and also the victory celebration with the Eldora Queen. Thanks to Earl Purvis for making this possible, and his crew.